Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Outspoken. Today we're going to talk about the Golden Globes. I'm assuming everybody kind of watched. Queen Meryl Streep gave a pretty powerful speech, and a lot of people feel a certain type of way about it. Did you guys watch it? Did you see what she had to say?
I definitely think she deserves an Oscar for that speech.
Nominated next year.
Stay tuned. No, I loved it. I think it was appropriate. I loved how, she used her platform. Even though, she got a lot of backlash, and I'm sure she knew she would. Mm-hmm. America needed to hear that from someone where a lot of people respect Meryl. Mm-hmm. So maybe they'll take her message and kind of look at it from a different perspective.
I mean, bro, a lot of people are saying that wasn't the platform to do it, or the time to really speak about that.
And do you agree?
Do I agree? I feel like everyone has a voice. Everyone has a time to say things, and also I don't want to get slapped by John. No, I do feel like if you have a opposition, a platform, then say what you gotta say. Mm-hmm. Despite if it's popular or not. Maybe she could have said it a different type of way, but
I thought it was very elegant. Without being too...
I thought she didn't mention him by name. She didn't really attack him for policies. It basically was this person of power who's supposed to be the leader of our world mocked a disabled person. This is not right in our country. Everyone should be standing up if they believe someone is mistreated. Stand up and say something. I think it was a pretty simple message.
She was also mentioning how we need to protect the press and freedom of speech. And then what happens? She's fucking getting backlash for her freedom of speech. And that's exactly what she said we shouldn't be able to lose.
I mean, you can have freedom of speech, but there's also consequences for your freedom of speech.
Donald Trump has not paid any consequences for the way he's used his right to freedom of speech. His name is Mud.
She wasn't saying anything bad. She was just saying, honestly, to hold each other accountable.
To you. It wasn't bad in your mind.
She's saying what everyone is feeling, and
everyone's not feeling that way.
But there's something wrong with the people who are not feeling that way. I'm sorry. If you think it's okay for somebody to get on damn television and mock a disabled reporter, I don't care. Especially the president of the United States. You're sick. If you're looking above that and you're giving him a pass, you're sick. My only frustration with Meryl about the whole fucking thing is that, girl, why did you wait until now? Why'd you wait until after the presidency? Not just to her, but to many celebrities. I feel like, for one, they're afraid of the backlash, and two, they're also afraid to affect their brand. Because money's more important to them than how people are getting treated, which I guess that is America.
You know what I can't stand? I can't stand when people say, okay, I don't want to hear actress or a musician speak about politics. But then when they speak about politics, it's you didn't say it in time, or you said it after this fact. Do you want your celebrities to talk about politics, or you don't?
Yes, I want them to, but I want them to do it in a more timely manner.
I don't want 2 Chainz talking about Black Lives Matter. I don't want Future talking about the economy.
No, they need
There is a thin there's a thin line sometimes, because not just because you're a celebrity doesn't necessarily mean that you're an educated person either,
or that your opinion is talking about climate control.
If she's intelligent enough and does her homework, I believe anybody with a platform that has a following and you're woke, you do have a responsibility to set an example for the people that are your fans or your following or whatever. Yes, you do.
I would rather hear from a person who is specializing in that field. I don't want to hear from another celebrity about something that they don't.
Oh, so you want to hear from Donald Trump?
I was going to say, well, we now have a president-elect who doesn't know anything about the field of the...
We elected a celebrity as the president.
Right. A lot of people's criticism of Meryl is, leave celebrities out of politics. Well, you can't really argue that when you just elected a reality show celebrity as our president, but a lot of people are criticizing her. It's nothing new having a political statement at an award show. That's been going on forever. People make statements about AIDS or cancer or, whatever it is, politics, war. It's been going on forever. So it's not a new thing to hear a celebrity speaking out. I think people are just surprised because she's literally speaking out against the president-elect of the United States, and it's something
she never mentioned his name, though. Really.
Well, I know that's why. Well, I know. I think it's great she didn't, but everyone knows.
It's similar to what happened with the Dixie Chicks. At the time, it was not the cool thing for everybody to go against the war. That's why they got a lot of backlash. Same thing that's happening right now with Meryl Streep. If you go to that woman's Instagram account, you have all of these ignorant bigots and people who clearly are Trump supporters bashing this woman, calling her old, calling her every name in the book, just for voicing her opinion, and I'm sorry for being woke. I don't know.
Some of them may be MMA fighter fans. They might be a little.
I don't care.
Well, if you don't know, Meryl at the end of her speech said, if we don't have all these foreigners and creative people and different people, putting the arts out there, we'll be stuck with nothing but football and was it MMA fighting or
football and MMA.
And she said those aren't forms of art.
She said martial arts, which isn't a form of art.
And some people took criticism of that. A lot of martial artists and people involved in that organization kind of took criticism with that, thinking that what they do is art. Do you think that she was trying to target them, or was she just it was just something she said because she was trying to think of maybe what most Trump supporters might enjoy, kind of entertainment?
Yeah,
so she was
I
just
think
sort
it was
of
along that.
Right.
I think if there was anybody that woman was targeting, it was Donald Trump. And that's what all of his supporters are upset about. People are mad because this woman, who has a lot of power, people know who she is.
A lot of power and respect.
They don't like it that she's calling out our president-elect. They don't like it.
Yeah, people are mad. Tommy Lahren, our good friend. She was upset about it. She was calling her out.
Of course, Tommy Lahren is upset about it.
It's just a difference of opinion. I feel like everyone wants everyone to think the same way they do. People just don't think the same way you think.
But if your opinion is you got to keep your mouth shut in times where people should be talking about something, your opinion is wrong. In my opinion, that's what I'm saying.
So what if a Trump supporter got up and said, Trump is okay, you guys better learn to respect and love him, he's your president? Would that have been okay with you?
No, it would have not.
Why? Well, that is not
because
right.
Because Donald Trump is not fit to be a president.
Right.
We are pointing out that the fact that this man has mocked a disabled person, there's no justification. You can't compare that.
I mean, that's period. A small piece of the puzzle.
I'm just using an example of what Meryl said.
If it was reversed.
The thing is, it's not just that. Our president's just a liar. He's a pathological liar. And
what has he lied about?
96%
of everything that's come out of his mouth for the campaign.
Give me some examples of what he's lying about.
They took 301 of his statements. Mm-hmm. Out of the 301, 288 of them were false, or partially false.
Okay.
You don't think that's scary?
An example.
No, you know that during the debate, people were literally live correcting him, everything he was saying, lie, contradiction, lie. That's not been.
Have you done your research?
I mean,
did you vote for Donald Trump? Because you're starting to make me believe it, bro.
No, this is not about. But the thing is, people are missing the whole point. It's not about the lies, what he says or what he doesn't. It's about the way he went about.
That is part of it. You can't say this isn't part of it. That is part of it.
No, the lies.
It's about the policy.
But what I'm saying, but the argument that we're saying, it has to do with what Meryl was targeting him for at the things.
He's also saying holding each other accountable. We can't hold him accountable.
Why?
He's talking about the whole package because he's a liar. He doesn't know policy. He doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. He's all about himself. This country's about to get deranged.
To me, the whole thing here is that he got to the point where he's not by being a disgusting human being. Not just lying, but also he created making comments about Mexicans, mocking a fucking.
He played off that,
he played off that. The way that he garnered his following is what makes this man disgusting, and the people that support him.
This isn't new. This is how this country has been. It's always put.
But don't you think that's the problem?
No, listen. Put the poor whites against the poor minorities. That's how this country has always been. I'm not saying it's right. It's wrong. It's horrible. But what we have to do is we have to recognize this, and then next time, remember that this is what happened. Because we keep on forgetting. No one really goes back to history and say, did this happen before? Because it has.
But it also kind of sounds like there's still this underlying tone of we need to be understanding. That
you don't think we need to be understanding?
No, I do not need to understand people. I don't need to understand why Donald Trump is mocking a disabled person. I don't need to understand why he thinks all Mexicans are drug dealers, and I don't have to understand that.
What I'm saying is understand his people, the people he was targeting. Try to see it from their point of view.
No, I know what you're saying, but I don't want to understand a point of view that I completely disagree with everything about them fundamentally.
It's simple. There's right and there's wrong, and they are wrong. Period.
But they think the same.
I'm not making no more. And they can think that if they want, the same way that I'm thinking what I'm thinking. I don't care.
Right.
At the end of the day, the way the people are getting treated is more important to me than all their other fucking policies that they think Donald Trump is going to implement once he starts his presidency. Good luck with that, girl, because he don't even have the funding for the goddamn wall that he said he was going to build. So good luck with all of that.
That was funny this week, the Mexican president. Did you see what he tweeted? We are not building your fucking wall. Stop lying to your people. Like,
you know who said they would help build the wall?
who?
Pennsylvania, there's a prison there.
No.
That said that they would volunteer their inmates, which is, what is that? That's slavery.
That's slavery.
So now we're going to have slaves build a wall to keep out Mexicans.
I didn't hear that.
Make America great again.
Oh, but you know what? It's okay. Trust him, you guys. Just trust him.
No, I'm never going to trust him. I'm always going to be against him.
Give him a chance.
But I feel like that's the thing at this point, too.
It's not about giving them a chance. No, I don't think any of us are saying, like, give them a chance. I think it's being more optimistic about our future and holding each other accountable as far as, like, yeah, we do have to hold the president accountable. The press has to be able to write what they want to write, and we do have to call it like it is.
Yeah.
And we understand that part, but to be proactive and do the right things and set an example that way.
But to him, it's more important to clap back at celebrities who have an opinion on him.
Well, what do y'all
Even George W. Bush didn't do that when he was in office.
To be fair, did they have Twitter? I was going to say,
No, but even then, now, they're silent. Like, you don't hear all these other politicians.
No one does it. That's just who he is.
He's disgusting.
But that's how he's made his platform, and that's the people that he's won over, and those are the people that are continue to win. At this point, you're either a Trump supporter or not. I don't think either side is going to change their minds too much. There's some people that may be still kind of on the fence and have some regret, but anybody who's against Trump and what he stands for is never going to change their mind. Like you said, we just have to continue being positive and doing our part as much as we can. Local governments, speaking out, protesting what we can protest, doing what we can, but, you know, nobody's minds at this point I don't think are going to be changed.
It leads down to the damage is done.
The damage, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, yeah.
It is divided.
It's divided more than ever. I mean, it's always been divided, but more than ever. And it has nothing to do with conservative views versus liberal views. It has to do with the fact that we put a man in office who is not qualified for the position, period. That's what it has to do with.
That's already good. That's
He was in Home Alone.
Yeah. Home Alone 2. Don't ruin the first one. That's a classic.
Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Outspoken. Please let us know how you felt about Meryl Streep's speech at the Golden Globes. Put it down in the comments section. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Until next time, guys.
See ya.